I'm Julianne Cross, and this is my story journal. I'm sitting on the edge of a bottom bunk bed in a run-down State College, Pennsylvania apartment as Todd Snyder looks deep into my soul with his bright blue eyes and tells me that he loves me. I want to respond. I should respond. I'm definitely going to respond. Instead, I stare blankly back at him. I've never been in love. What is love anyway? My favorite movie is My Best Friend's Wedding, not just because Julia Roberts has curly red hair and her character's name is Julianne and everyone calls her Jules, but I don't know, mostly because of that. Based on this movie and my 20 years of life experience, love is unrequited. It comes with trials, tribulations, a missed opportunity under a bridge, embarrassing karaoke, and eventually a dance with your gay best friend. Do I love Todd? When we met at that beer pong tournament a few months ago, I thought he was cute and earnest, like Freddie Prinze Jr. kicking around that hacky sack and she's all that. And he's well-rounded. He can quote both Maya Angelou and Napoleon Dynamite. And I like the way he smells. And my mom will love how he asks introspective questions and listens with his whole body. And my dad will think it's cool that he's studying to be a sports journalist. And I mean, sure, he wears flip-flops, but so does every other Pearl Jam fan on this campus. Oh, and did I mention that he's skilled at landing a ping pong ball in a red Solo cup? And oh my God, how long has this inner monologue gone on? I quickly say, I love you, because that's how this works, right? You meet someone in college and you get married and you have kids and they have kids and you grow old with the person you met before your prefrontal cortex is formed, right? We kiss and he hands me a gift. It's a homemade journal with a compass on the cover and some of his favorite inspirational quotes peppered throughout. I'm leaving to intern in New York City for the summer and he's staying at Penn State. He's a writer, and he encourages me to write as well. He's very thoughtful. I like this about him. I like him a lot. Oh God, I just told him that I love him. Do I love him? Inside the journal are 2 tickets to see Wicked on my 21st birthday. It is the year 2004, and Wicked is the hottest ticket on Broadway. I love him! Todd meets my family. As expected, they love him too. As we drive across Pennsylvania, he humors me by playing Defying Gravity, and I belt it at the top of my lungs. I meet his mother, and she gives me a bracelet with the charm of an elm tree. Everyone in their family has one. He is so sure of us, but I feel smothered by the weight of our future together. Something inside me is whispering there's more to life than a husband, a house, 2 kids, and a dog. In New York, I feel alive. I feel untethered and terrified and more myself than I have ever dared to feel. Todd visits every other weekend, and while I'm now certain that I love him, I look forward to his visits less as June becomes July. He sends me mix CDs with love songs that run the gamut from Stevie Wonder to something corporate, and he holds my hand on my 21st birthday as Idina Menzel belts that iconic F sharp. Without him, I eat street vendor pretzels for lunch and drink lychee martinis at happy hour. I have dinner at Elaine's on the Upper East Side with friends of friends working on the John Kerry campaign. A beautiful older woman at our table asks earnestly if the calamari was swimming yesterday, and I think she's just incredible. I drink champagne at the premiere of Natalie Portman's new movie, Garden State. I dance to Daft Punk at clubs in the meatpacking district, meet people who were born in countries I can't yet point out on a map, and I walk home as the streetlights defer to the sun. One night, in a low-lit West Village dive bar, I kiss someone else. Not because he's he's not sloppy. Not because he's a floppy-haired singer-songwriter named Gavin, but because I'm looking for a way out. It feels terrible. I tell Todd. He forgives me. We date through our senior year, and I keep having this recurring dream. I'm in a white dress, slowly marching down the aisle of a stained glass chapel surrounded by friends and family. I should be happy, but I'm panicked. My pulse races as I make eye contact with a beaming Todd at the end of the aisle, and a lump forms in my throat. I want to turn around, but my feet keep moving forward as an impending doom washes over me. Why can't I love Todd the way he loves me? Am I throwing away my one chance at happily ever after? But New York and its infinite possibilities call to me louder than a life of certainty with him. After graduation, I move into a converted closet in Hell's Kitchen with a view of a brick wall and 4 roommates. I stashed the journal Todd gave me in a shoebox under the single bed that takes up the majority of my room. He moves to New Jersey, then back to Pennsylvania, and marries the next woman he dates. I do not regret choosing New York. My life here has been so much bigger than anything that version of me could have ever imagined. But for 20 more years of life's twists and turns, one thing has remained the same: the wedding nightmare. I dated a bass player in a band that opened for Yellow Card. Gotta love it. We got some olds in the crowd. A devastatingly funny Irishman who drove me and 2 friends around his country, a psychic life coach, a background actor with great hair who inspired me to quit my corporate job, a worldly nomadic philosopher, and sure, even a few comedians. We've all dated comedians. Different potential grooms, the same dread waking me up in cold sweats. The men I dated were either physically or emotionally unavailable, and the few that weren't gave me the ick. As an elder millennial woman, the only roadmap I had for love was the heteronormative will they won't they storylines of 90s rom-coms filled with yearning. But yearning is inherently queer, and as it turns out, so am I. The jealousy of the popular girls growing up crushes. Staring a little too long at the lingerie section of the J.C. Penney catalog. Curiosity. Considering applying to law school to fight for gay rights because I was such an ally. Sure I was. A fear of watching the movie Carol while in a relationship with a man. That's telling. Kissing women post-pandemic in straight spaces and wishing every man would just leave me the fuck alone. Yeah, that's when I figured it out. Turns out, all along, I didn't want to be Julia Roberts. I wanted to be with her. By the way, her character, Maggie Carpenter in Runaway Bride, is a lesbian. Yeah. I will not be convinced otherwise, and I challenge you to rewatch through that lens. I do consider Todd my first love. But finally freeing myself from the blueprint of love I thought I was supposed to want has led me to the safest, kindest, and most hell yes relationship of my life. When she told me that she loved me, there was no inner monologue, hesitation, or confusion. I immediately told her that I loved her too. I guess the movie version of my life does include dancing with my gay best friend. I recently ran out of space in my journal, searched through some boxes, and discovered the one Todd gifted me 20 years ago. It had moved with me 8 times through a career change, multiple breakups, and a global pandemic. Not a single word written in it. I open it, and the first quote I read says, "To exist is to change. To change is to mature. To mature is to go on creating oneself endlessly." Henry Bergson. I begin to write as I continue to change.